Here he is, Hall of Fame pass rusher, Super Bowl champion, Dwight Freeney. Lots of great football. The playoff pictures are crazy. And happy almost New Year to you. How you doing? You're looking lean, Dwight.
Am I?
Yeah.
It's probably me chasing those kids.
And we love to
not
hear
chasing
it.
any quarterbacks.
No, you're not.
Sure.
And nobody was chasing any quarterback last night, that's for sure. No Fred Warner. I mean, the Niners, I was just talking about how impressive it is. They've had so much adversity, so many injuries, and here they are. The one seed could be theirs. They had 500 yards of offense almost. No Kittle, no Trent Williams. Who do you like in the NFC? Can we pull up the NFC for my friend Dwight?
Okay. Right now, I'm either talking the Eagles or Seattle. That's how I see it.
Okay, tell me more. Why Seattle in the NFC West?
Well, the thing is, Seattle has a good defense. They're like in the top 5. So I always like to put a great defense out there, and they have a pretty explosive offense. So, if they can have home field advantage, which is not easy to play up there, especially obviously in December and January. Seattle, they're going to surprise some people, I think. I know they're newbies, coming into the playoffs now, but I think because of the fact that they have that home field advantage, if they can hold on, get some home field advantage, that defense is looking pretty good. Eagles, obviously, I love the Eagles just because of the defense and how they always start playing the right ball. I call it the right ball, as in play defense, run the ball, protect the ball. And that's what they're doing now, as you can see. So I think they're going to be one of those contenders. And the wild card, I honestly believe, is the Rams. If Rams can get some home field advantage and in indoor games where they can have that explosive offense, I think they're going to be good. I'm just worried about them when they get into some weather, when things are not actually, perfect, pristine type of conditions.
Micah Parsons, I'm thinking about all the teams that you're naming. Pass rush is very important, okay? It's one that Chicago maybe avoided your love there because that might be a problem for them. The Niners, same thing. Micah tweeted this after the game last night. Of course, his Packers not looking great, but he said, I don't care what no one says, pass rushers are the important position on the field outside of a quarterback. Both quarterbacks way too comfortable tonight. Is this your burner, Dwight? Is this you tweeting?
Listen, I love it.
I know.
I absolutely love it. I mean, look, we all love quarterbacks somewhat, right?
You don't.
The people...
Liar.
No, I am lying. But the truth is, it's the guy who has to get the quarterback down is probably the next most important guy. And I look at it this way. You can have the sweetest offensive play you drawn up all week. You put all, you hold on to the ball for 5 seconds. You can do a double route. You can do all these different things, but they can't factor in the guy who's just going to beat your offensive tackle under 3 seconds and destroy your entire game plan. And if you have that type of guy, I think, your life is going to be a lot easier, especially in the playoffs.
The Eagles, they had a win. You mentioned them. It's hard for me to, if I'm picking the NFC, it's hard for me to not put them in the title game. I don't know if they go to the Super Bowl, but it's hard after yesterday, what you're saying, like Saquon and everybody, they looked so great. And so there's that, but I also want to go to the AFC. The Browns, big upset win over the Steelers, which was sort of crazy. My pass rusher, Hall of Fame here, got to ask you about Myles Garrett. He's 1 sack away from the single season record. I know. I don't know why we're looking at the playoff picture here. Instead, I would love to hear Myles Garrett.
They were more worried about keeping me away from Aaron than getting the win. And I think that's what came back to bite him.
Listen, I wouldn't say all that. All right? Look, I think whenever you're playing a dominant guy, you're going to have to circle him and figure out a way to stop him. Right? And I think that's what they tried to do. Now, were they too conservative? Did they completely, shift their entire game plan? I don't know. But I'll tell you this, with no DK Metcalf and some vertical threat type of situation to where so they can extend the field, and what Aaron Rodgers is doing right now is more, as someone should at his age, is kind of not take so many chances down the field, kind of dink and dunk your way. It's hard to create a lot of offense. So, I get it. You want to stop Myles Garrett. It's not easy. It's damn near impossible. But I wouldn't say that they were too worried about trying to stop him than winning the game. I'm sure they wanted to win the game.
I'm not sure the Steelers make it. Ravens, it's win or in. I mean, we got to see if TJ Watt's going to play. We don't know about Lamar Jackson, I'll tell you that. I looked at that this morning. He's dealing with a back injury, and other things, right? Do the Steelers not make it now?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say that, with Tomlin being the head coach. How many years did we go in saying there is no chance the Steelers make the playoffs? Absolutely. With that roster, how bad they are. And every year they make the playoffs. All right. This is a year that they actually have a little bit more talent than other years on paper. I don't know. I think they make it if Lamar doesn't play and doesn't be Lamar. If Lamar doesn't play, then I don't know. I think they load up the box, the Steelers, against Derrick Henry, put 8 in the box, and dare him to throw the ball. And I think that's what they're going to do. And I think they have enough offensively that they can probably get it done. But it's not going to be easy. It's going to be an ugly game, kind of like the Cleveland versus Cleveland. It's going to be low scoring, last play, last drive type of situation.
The Packers tried that.
Yeah, they did. They did. But they didn't have Tomlin. They didn't have Tomlin as a head coach. No offense to LaFleur, but Tomlin, he knows what he's doing. Clearly, you're making the playoffs every single year. There's a reason for that. He has a formula on how to win games, especially the Titans.
I don't know if I want them in. Ravens 3.5-point faves on the road is the early line on FanDuel. I don't want like a Saturday afternoon, like in and out, like you're saying. Like that's what we're gonna get from them. I don't love that. You like that?
You're gonna get that.
Yeah.
You're gonna get that. Let's just be clear. Anyone coming out of that division is gonna be that. All right. I don't see them really stringing a whole bunch of wins together.
Let's talk about these Raiders. So they lose to the Giants. Maxx Crosby. What is going on? So he's put on season-ending IR for a knee injury. Then he's posting videos jumping on a trampoline. He's shooting threes. His daughter's in the gym, as you're seeing right here. There were reports that he walked out of the building when he heard that they were shutting him down. What's your take on what's going on here when you're hearing this all unfold?
It's all bad. Let's just put it that way. He might be thinking about trying to get out of there, and maybe he's tired of losing. And I think, this may be the straw that broke the camel's back, maybe, for him. He wants to play. I guess this meniscus, I've had this meniscus similar thing. You can play through it.
Okay.
He's been playing through it the entire season. The franchise probably just didn't want to risk anything major happening to him. So, and they don't really want to win the game. Let's just be clear. So I think, so I think in their mind, they were like, this is the perfect situation to sit him down, protect one of our stars. And, hey, just give this one more less guy that we got to put out there, and hopefully we don't win the game. And I think Max is like a competitor. I want to go out there and play. If I'm good enough, I've been good enough for the last 7 weeks or whatever, how many weeks he's been hurt since week 7, and I've been playing. Let me go out there and finish the season. It's just not good.
He's been hurt for 9 weeks, I think.
Oh, 9 weeks. That's my point.
He's expected to need surgery. They have an 80% chance of getting the number 1 pick as a result, per your remarks.
Yep.
How pissed should he be?
Look, it's a business, right? And they get to protect their guys, and they're gonna, I don't want you to play 30% of the plays, 50, whatever it is. They can protect their guys. Maybe I felt like he should have played, and maybe they pull him after the first half. I think that you probably talk to a guy like that and say, hey, this is what we're thinking. We'll let you play because you really want to play, but you're not going to play the amount of plays just because we want to protect your knee. And I think that's the conversation they should have had, other than just putting him on IR and saying you're done.
Raiders fans don't love me because they think that I had Something to do with Devontae leaving them. I have asked Max a lot on this show over the years, and I've sort of said, like, I'd like to see you win a ring. I say the same thing to Cam Jordan. I'd like to see them, Myles Garrett, I say the same thing to. Max has done everything the right way. He has wanted, I want to be there. It mirrors Myles in a lot of ways as well. I don't know, and Cam, I'm like, Cam, no Saints fan, like, it does not change your lore. It does not change your place in history. It does not change the reverence that is given to it. You're saying it's a business. It's a business for Max. Like, you know, he's in his prime. He'll get surgery. Do you want to see him get out of there?
Me personally, absolutely. You know, I'm with you. There, you know, the thing is, winning, the feeling of winning, there's no feeling like that. When you win in the playoffs, when you go to the playoffs, you know, when you win a Super Bowl, those are the moments that, you know, stay with you forever. And I'm talking about, you're sitting there watching a basketball game in the NBA Finals, and you see how they celebrate it, and you remember how you felt when you won your ring. You know, it's something that you just you just can't put a value on that. Okay, so I'm for, look, obviously you want to be loyal to that organization as long as you possibly can, but there is a point where you're going to have to say, look, if I want to feel that feeling, if I want to be on the top of that mountain, you're going to probably have to make a change at some point if that organization doesn't look like they're doing anything.
And and it looks like, I mean, in posting videos like that, like I'm almost, and Raiders fans are not going to, but if you're a Raiders fan and Max has given it his all and he's done it all, isn't it your obligation to root for him to go find, to go find happiness, like to go find?
Absolutely not. No.
I think so. Maybe it's different. Like,
no way.
No, like with Cam Jordan, I think it's different because he's been there so long. Maybe Max hasn't been there. Here's what, can I tell you? I'm always for the player. I think Max, can I tell you where I want him to go?
All right, tell me.
Raiders fans are, I'm not looking at my mentions today, so don't even tweet at me. Don't even tweet at me, Raiders fans. He's what Chicago is missing. Max,
they need a pass rusher big time.
You are Chicago. You are gritty. That makes sense for me. They need you. I would love to see Maxx Crosby in Chicago because that is the next level move for the Bears.
Well, I think I have to disagree, but
Tell me.
I want him to be an Indianapolis Colt.
Oh.
We have no pass rusher. We have great coverage guys. We have guys who can really, and it's always good weather indoors. You'll get a lot of numbers. But
Max doesn't care about good weather.
Oh, okay. Until you have about 2-3 sacks a game, then you're going to care. But the thing is, I think from a fan perspective, they want him to stay in the black and silver until the day he dies, period. That's just that's their program. They want their team to be great. So, yeah, of course they want to root for him, but they'll never root for him to leave the team.
I'm rooting for him to be a Bear. He's a Michigan kid. He's going to thrive in the cold. Wherever that stadium is built, I don't keep track of it. Whatever's happening with the Bears, he's going to be sleeveless. Those tats are going to be showing. He's going to bring. I'm just putting. Sometimes I get this stuff right.
You're putting it out there.
Maxx Crosby, Chicago Bear ? Just saying that. Your Colts. Everyone's saying collapse. So they have this 8-2 start. How do you characterize the Colts season?
Man, it was disastrous. It was just one of those things where everything was moving and everything was going, and then it wasn't. Injuries started to hit, and when Daniel Jones went down, it was a struggle. They couldn't find that recipe. Obviously, it's not easy. You have your backup hurt already. He had an eye. I guess something wrong with his socket. Something happened in the offseason, or actually during a game, he got injured. So you didn't have a backup. So then you had Leonard, who goes in there, hurts his knee. So you had no quarterback. I think, bringing in Phillip was a gamble. I feel like, if there's anybody who could do it, it would be Philip Rivers because of the fact that he is always going to put that offense in the best play. All right. No one can catch up and know the playbooks as quickly as Philip would. All right. Obviously, Philip, I think he played great. I honestly did. I mean, for a guy who's not played in the NFL for 5 years, coming off the couch literally and just going out there throwing, not winning games, but almost winning games. They could have probably won some games if the defense did anything.
Right, it wasn't because of Philip. That's what pisses me off. Philip didn't lose. I know a couple of interceptions, 100%. But you didn't lose. That's a little heartbreaking, disheartening to me that they did lose these games not because of Philip.
It was the defense that became disappointing. I've said it all year.
How did that happen? Because it was like Lou came in and I'm over here trying to do my Lou should be head coach spiel and what happened?
You know what?
What happened?
I think it was something that was going to happen. Look, if you don't have a guy that can get the quarterback down when things break down from a coverage standpoint, you're going to have problems. And I've been saying it all year. Defensively, they're a great coverage team. They get a lot of coverage sacks, but they don't have a guy or whatever it is, something's going on from the pass rush standpoint where that quarterback has all day to throw the ball. Okay? So you get guys like Sauce, which is great, but then he gets hurt, right? That's the worst case scenario. You trade for a guy who's a super talent like him, and then he gets hurt for 4 games.
Well, where's Latu?
That's my point. He's not humming right now. Don't know why.
You don't?
Don't know what's going on. I don't know. Well, okay. I know why.
Tell me.
Well,
I don't.
It's based on how they're rushing the passer. It's the way they're doing it. So there's certain specific ways that give you a better advantage as a pass rusher and maybe call it 16 years of being a pass rusher, knowing certain things, but
right.
You have to work more on the edge of a guy. You can't work down the middle of a guy. The moves that you have to use has to be, more precise and sharp. A lot of their moves aren't precise and sharp. There's a lot of things that I'm seeing, but that's seeing it from my eyes, which may not be necessarily fair all the way, but the thing is, they need to have a pass rusher. They need to have somebody to completely dominate or somewhat dominate to where as though you don't have to blitz anybody to get any pressure. Now you can have your 7 guys cover and you can be the strength of the team when your quarterback goes down and gets hurt. But that's not what happened. Okay. What happened was they gave up, I don't even know how many points in the last few games. One was 40 points to San Francisco or whatever it was. It was terrible. I was watching that game. Now, San Francisco is humming. We get it. But still, they should have done a lot better than they did.
Dwight, is your shoulder going to hurt for throwing Lou under the bus like that? Or?
No, I'm not throwing Lou under the bus. Lou would say the same thing.
You got to get some cryotherapy, some treatment on that?
Well,
I can't tell what you're saying. You're saying they need a pass rusher. They have Latu. They brought him in. Defoe, whatever, not pass rush, I get. So is it coaching tweaks we need to make? Are we making coaching tweaks or we need to, no?
I think the coaching is fine. I think the coaching, they've been playing pretty decent all year for the most part. But I think it's technique-wise for the D-line guys that they figure out ways to get on edges, to get off blocks, to make some more plays. All right? If they can't do that in this offseason, they better find a guy who can put some serious pressure on a quarterback from the edges. All right. Obviously, they've been a little bit banged up, but in the end, every team's banged up. You got to be able to put some pressure on the quarterback to make things happen.
Did they at least find their franchise quarterback?
I think so. I think Daniel was great. No one would have thought that, me included. No one would have thought and saw, based on what we saw Daniel do in years past, ever think he would have had the year that he had. And, if God willing, he comes back from this Achilles and he's that same guy, I think they don't have to look anymore. Now, they might have to figure out a backup or whatever it is, quarterback. But I think from a starting quarterback perspective, I think they're good.
Do you think it should be Phillip?
No.
The backup.
Philip.
Kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Hell no. Philip, go back and take care of those kids, those 10 kids, and be a head coach in high school, and you live your life. I think he did great. I honestly thought he did great. I'm happy for him as long as he's happy. I wish they would have won more games and all of that, but I think what he did personally, I think he did great.
And it's nice for him to get his love, and we will miss him when he leaves again. And retiring's, bullshit. Anyway, nobody retires. Everyone's door is open. Okay, I have to ask you. This is a crap question to end this segment.
Okay.
Who's got a better shot at making a run in the AFC, the Jags or the Texans? Woof and woof. Do you like your Texans there?
I think I like the Texans. Like I said, call me biased, but, you have Daniil Hunter, you have Will Anderson, you have that #1 defense or whatever they're ranked. Defense, call it cliche, but defense really wins championships, especially in the playoffs. Look at what the Eagles done and other teams have done in years past. I think whoever has the better defense wins. I think offense, offensively, they have enough weapons offensively to do some things. I think defensively, they look really strong.
Let's take a look at the AFC picture. Outside of who do you like? You told me who you like in the NFC, Seattle, crazily enough. Who do you like here?
Ooh, this is a tough one. I almost feel like it's up for grabs, to be quite honest. Give me a coin and flip it.
What are you thinking? Tell me this. When are you looking right at defense and saying, yeah, Broncos have it, Texans are great? Like, are you thinking about the quarterbacks? What are you thinking about as a champion looking at this?
Well, I look at it as you have to have a solid defense, okay? You're going to have a defense that can perform and play under pressure. And obviously, you're going to have some type of offensive capabilities, something that, you can actually go out there. So that's why I like Houston. I love Houston, but don't know if their experience gets them there. New England is another one that's been playing great all year. That team kind of always scares me. They have a lot of tradition over there. Mike Vrabel knows how to win games.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. I would love to hear more about that, because when I'm looking at it too, I'm looking at the top to bottom culture. It's why I'm like, man, maybe the Eagles do make it back, because it's been a long time for the Patriots. It's been a long time.
It has.
Why does it matter that they've been there? Why does that matter? Like the tradition of it, what does that matter?
Well, the tradition is the guy calling the shots. He's the head coach. He understands how to get it done, and he's been there, okay? And now they can pull on some of those experiences that he's gone through and understanding, how to win football games in January. There's no better, I guess, better way to help a guy than say, hey, look, I've been through this. This is how you do it. This is how we did it when Tom was here, whatever. And if you look at what they did, they minimized the mistakes. Okay, they didn't turn the ball over, and they created turnovers. They were always in every game. So I think that's in January and February. That's what you need to do. So he understands that. That's why they're always going to be dangerous. As long as they have people like Mike in the building that can help these guys understand what it takes to get there.
Hall of Fame pass rusher, sack artist, greatest strip sack artist of all time. Appreciate you so much for coming on the show. Just love your mind, the way it works, the way you hate quarterbacks. You're the best.
Always.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.